What I keep trying to caution farmers about is that I think that there's going to be plenty of fertilizer for the spring season, particularly since we had such a great fall. But one of the things they need to do is kind of talk to their dealers and make sure that the dealers kind of aware of what they're going to do in terms of their fertilizer needs this spring, because the dealers typically will not stock up if they're afraid that they're going to get stuck with it going out of the spring season and into the fall, because I think that we could see prices for fertilizers drift off in the summer, and prices next fall should be quite a bit lower than what we've seen this past fall. Well, for one thing, the old commodity saying, that the best cure for high prices is high prices. What we've seen with this high-priced fertilizer over the last 2 or 3 years is that we have brought some more capacity on stream. If you look at nitrogen capacity, that continues to grow in areas where they've got cheap natural gas, particularly in the Middle East. In phosphates, we've got a situation coming on now. The Saudi Arabians are getting ready to start running what will be the largest phosphate complex in the world. It's going to add about 10% to total world supplies of phosphate. We look for output out of that facility to start probably moving in June or July, sometime this summer. And so that's going to put a little bit of pressure on the phosphate market. We're also seeing a situation where potash capacity has been growing kind of organically. No big new facilities except for one in New Brunswick, which has been going on now for a year or so. But we've seen a lot of expansions of existing capacity. And then also there's talk of BHP, which tried to buy Potash Corp this past year and was rebuffed, building a new facility up there which is going to produce about 8 million tons of potash a year. So we've got a situation where we're seeing capacity come on stream, which should take some of the pressure off of prices going forward. Yeah, the part of the problem we've got right now is that if farmers do want to forward purchase some of that, if they go to their dealer and the dealer is not getting prices from the producer, then he's not able to lock in any prices or tonnage for the farmer. And so what we're seeing now is we're seeing some growth in the fertilizer swaps market. There's a couple of entities out there now. One that has been a big handler of freight movements over the last few years. They're beginning to get involved now, to where it's kind of a bid-offer type situation. The Chicago Board of Trade has tried for a couple of times to get fertilizer futures markets going. They've not had any success doing that, but the swap seems to be growing a little bit better than that has been. And I think probably over maybe the next 3 to 5 years, that should become more mainstream, where the importers, the wholesalers, the dealers, the producers even, and the farmers will feel comfortable about going onto the system once it gets a little bit more credibility built up and a little bit more volume built up, and beginning to price some of that. And it'll be strictly cash settled, so there won't be any deliveries of fertilizer. But part of the issues they've got to kind of deal with now is what do they base their price level on, where their price discovery has to be something that people trust. And then also another issue is the credit situation. A dealer or a wholesaler or an importer or a producer is not going to want to deal with a farmer if he doesn't know that that farmer's got good credit to where he can actually stand behind those prices that he's offering. So that's just a couple of the issues that I think, though, that we're slowly working our way through, and will eventually give us a system that should work for the fertilizer dealer, for the producer, and for the farmer himself.